If somebody spends over 2 minutes on your tweet, this is 22 times more powerful to the algorithm as an indicator of a good quality post than a like. If someone clicks through to your profile, it's 24 times more powerful than a like. The reason X is one of the easiest platforms to grow on in 2025 is because they actually tell us the exact algorithm. They tell us exactly what's needed to get our posts ranked and to go viral. You can find this algorithm on GitHub yourself if you want. But in this video, I've broken down the key components into actionable insights that you can use yourself right away to start growing quickly on Twitter. The first thing you need to know about is something called sim clusters. This basically means that Twitter put every single account into something that you can think of like a community of 145,000 people. It's basically profiling people and putting them into these categories. They actually call it embedded spaces. Twitter then maps all the users and tweets in this embedded space. And they use this information to decide who your out-of-network recommendations are going to be. Now what this tells us is, and the action point here is that if you're trying to grow on Twitter and you're doing it for business reasons, which is probably why you're here, you're not trying to grow for vanity, you want to make sure that you're in the right embedded space. And the way you do that is never deviate from your industry topics, never deviate from your niche. You want to become what's seen as an active member of that community. If you're in the build and public space or you're in the software side of Twitter, you want to make sure that you're only engaging and commenting on accounts that are similar to your own. And then what happens is when you do get your tweets pushed out from just your current initial audience, which obviously happens every now and then, to your out-of-network audience, it's still hitting the right people in this embedded space. So if you do eventually go viral, the 145,000 first people who are going to see it are going to be people who are relevant to what you generally like talking about. So it's very important not to deviate from your niche. The next thing the algorithm tells us is that we should not be chasing likes. And this is actually probably a positive because it means it gets rid of those low quality engagement bait posts. What they actually value more than anything else is click-throughs to your profile from a tweet and dwell time on a tweet. Dwell time basically just means if somebody spends over 2 minutes on your tweet, this is 22 times more powerful to the algorithm as an indicator of a good quality post than a like. If someone clicks through to your profile, it's 24 times more powerful than a like. So the only two things you should be focusing on is not engagement bait to see how many likes you can get. It's how to get people to spend more time on your post and to click through to your profile. And one of the best ways of doing this is by sparking curiosity. When people see your tweet, generally what happens is they'll hover over your username, they'll get a quick snippet of your profile. If you have a captivating or, more than captivating, actually unique and, something that drives a bit of curiosity and people click on your profile, there's a good chance that tweet is going to get pushed out to a lot more people. So that's the one thing you should be focused on. Creating more curiosity, keeping people on your tweets for longer. Another way of doing that is by, if you have a tweet thread, you have videos embedded. So you want people spending more than 2 minutes on there. So say it's the top 7 sales psychology tips. Each one can be linking maybe to a 90-second snippet of a TED Talk that references each of those points. You're going to rack up people watching these things, staying on your thread for 5-6 minutes. And you've probably seen it yourself, a lot of those threads tend to go viral. And that's due to dwell time, the amount of time people are spending on the tweet. The next pointer in the algorithm is the 48-hour pinned tweet. This is basically the lowest hanging fruit you can get, the easiest win. All you need to do is pin your tweet one every 48 hours, and the algorithm says that it will show that pinned tweet in a 48-hour period to all of your followers. So if you have 3,000 followers, you've probably seen yourself, sometimes you get a couple of hundred impressions, but if you pin that post to your profile, the algorithm will now show that tweet to all of your followers. Now you can only do this once every 48 hours, but it just means that if you spend ages doing one of those Twitter threads that I mentioned with all the videos and you spend a lot of time working on that, if you pin it, you give it a lot more chance to get pushed out to the masses. The next thing you need to know about are what's called real graph scores. This is used to determine which tweets from the people you follow are most likely to be shown to you, which also applies to your posts and people who follow you. And some of the most important indicators here are how you engage with those accounts yourself. So if you're sending people direct messages, you're retweeting their stuff and you're commenting on their profile, it's more likely that you're going to be shown their stuff. So vice versa, that works as well. If you can get those people to reciprocate and like and comment, and also obviously if you're in a DM and they're DMing back and forth, that will carry some weight and it means your posts are more likely to be shown to them over time. So building relationships and creating that reciprocity is really, really important. It means that the followers you have are actually going to be showing your tweets more often. And that's the biggest difference between accounts who can't get any traction and the ones that grow. The ones that grow realize that they do actually have to start networking with people so those people see their tweets. Not just on a human level that they reciprocate, but also that the algorithm shows them the posts. And the other thing the algorithm tells us we absolutely must be doing is keeping a good follower to following ratio. And you should aim for about 2 to 1 in this at a bare minimum. So to give you an example of that, if you're following 1,000 people, you should have 2,000 followers yourself. If you have 1,000 followers, you should only follow 500 people. Now, no matter what you think about this, it doesn't matter if you think it's a good idea or a bad idea. It's kind of gaming the system as well, and it encourages that gaming of the system. But that's what the algorithm tells us. So if you want to be seen as a high quality account, make sure that you disproportionately have more followers than followings. Another thing you absolutely must look out for if you're trying to grow your account is to avoid having any of your posts and tweets reported. Now, one of the easiest ways of doing this is just avoiding controversy. Don't get pulled into arguments, don't annoy people. Even if you don't agree with something, maybe it's just better off just to avoid it. And you can say to yourself, that's not really how you want to position your brand, but to be honest, if someone reports you, the algorithm assigns a negative score to that post of 369, which basically just means as soon as it's being reported, the algorithm just doesn't want to know. It's just going to kill your post. So it's just not worth getting into arguments. And if you're looking for a more practical step-by-step way of growing your Twitter account, there's a free course in the description below. Thanks for watching.